Okay, I'm continuing with Sheldon's computer, so this is still in the Sheldon playlist, and dealing with the cloud accounts, part 2 of the cloud accounts. I've spoken with Sheldon since then. I've done a little more research on the subject, and I think I have my plan figured out for how to unscramble this. So I'm connected remotely to that laptop now and working from my computer number 2. Let's take that full screen and let's do a quick summary of where we're at. So, and I've displayed all icons down here so I don't have to deal with that silly overflow menu anymore. So we have this one, Google Drive unable to connect, and we have this one, Google Drive. And we're going to have to deal with OneDrive also. And Dropbox is kind of irrelevant because it's so small. There's, I think, 2 documents in it. So I'm not going to worry about that. But there is significant content in both Google Drive and OneDrive. Now, yesterday, I got the computer reconnected with Google Drive, and that created this G drive, and it did not create a folder within the user's shelled profile folder. So the Google Drive showing in there is still not syncing. And inside this documents folder, I have confirmed as I drilled down, I was using this Baker Dillon group as my subject folder. I have confirmed that these folders that don't have that image of a person do not exist on the Google Drive. I've also confirmed that these folders that do have that profile image, the Google Drive actually has some files that are not on the computer. So they're fully unsynchronized. Now this G drive down here, when I go into my drive and then into my documents, this is a complete and accurate replication of what is actually in the cloud Google Drive. But this outline of a cloud is indicating that these are just place markers. They're not the actual documents. So it did not actually download the documents. When I click on one of these, it actually downloads it for viewing right then. So these are all stored only in the cloud. Then for OneDrive, it's asking me to set that up. In Documents, it's curious that this one appears to actually be the Baker Dillon Group in capital letters LLC that's in the Google Drive. I haven't actually looked at that in detail yet, so let me try that. I'm going to do Windows key right arrow to make that take the right half of the screen, let go of the Windows key, and then click on this window so that they're side by side. So this side is OneDrive Documents, and it's got that profile type icon. And on the right side of the screen, I'm going to go to the G drive, go into my drive, my documents, and then Baker Dillon Group in capitals. The date is different between those. 153 megabytes. Is that one going to tell me the size? Maybe if I make that window active. Still not. Well, I'm going to go into that folder, go into this folder. No, they're not synchronized. So at the moment, I don't know I don't have a clear understanding of that significance. Now, but that profile icon, okay, so let's look at this. This is the OneDrive Baker Dillon Group. Over here, I'm looking at the actual live connection to the Google Drive. If I go to the profile folder Google Drive, does it match? So here's the Google Drive that's not syncing within the profile folder into my documents, into the capitalized Baker Dillon Group. That doesn't match either. Nope. So those seem to be two different instances of Baker Dillon Group LLC in all caps that are not synchronized with each other and maybe have some duplicate content. So Baker Dillon Group 2016, no. Clients, no. LLC, yes. Mercedes-Benz, yes. And look at that, the date even matches. The date, but not the time. LLC 79, yeah. The date matches, but not the time. So if I go into LLC, and over here into LLC, there's obviously a different number of files, but it looks like there's some replication there. So this is messy. All right, so what I'm going to do is, it feels like there's this big mess of spaghetti. I'm going to focus on one thing at a time. I kind of am needing to get this computer back to Sheldon so he can be productive. What I have in mind, let's just focus on the Google Drive issue, because that seems to be where they are most active. Okay, actually before I show that, I'm going to go over here to Microsoft Word to show that he's actually active in both Google Drive and OneDrive. So here are some recent documents. We see this was in my drive, that's the G drive. That's one that I opened as a test. So here, Google Drive not syncing, Google Drive not syncing, Google Drive not syncing, Google Drive not syncing, not syncing. And then come down here some more because we're into files that he opened. Google Drive's not syncing. Now we have documents, and that pop-up bubble says OneDrive documents. So that was last Thursday, and down here is OneDrive documents. So he is using both of them. It looks like mostly he's using Google Drive. Yet Microsoft Word, if I go into Options and go into Save, we can see the default save location is OneDrive. So that's kind of messy. And then let's go to Google Chrome. So Google Drive and the Google biosphere, something sphere, the way that Google Drive is really designed to function is with the Google Apps. So if I go in here to Google Apps and then into Docs, the question is, does Sheldon also use Google Docs for word processing? And if I scroll down here to recent documents, I see dates in 2021, late in 2020. So this kind of makes me think that yes, indeed, he does use Google Docs for word processing, as well as Microsoft Word. And in Microsoft Word, he uses files from both Google Drive and OneDrive. All right, so, and both Google Drive and OneDrive are not syncing to his existing laptop. And this whole problem of things not working right is one of the motivations towards getting a new computer. Well, we need to fix those cloud accounts first, really, because there are documents that are on this computer that are not in the cloud accounts. So if we just implement the new computer without fixing those cloud accounts, then there's files on the old computer that are just lost. If I just copy the entire contents of Google Drive and OneDrive to the new laptop without fixing the cloud accounts, then they're still not going to be synchronized, because when I reestablished the connection to Google Drive, it did not associate to the same Google Drive folder on this computer. So that did not fix the synchronizing problems. So I'm really feeling that we have to fix the synchronizing problems before transitioning to a new computer. Now, if we fix those problems, will he still need to transition to a new computer? Is he interested in the new computer? I don't know. But one step at a time is all I can do. So what I'm going to do for this step is target fixing the Google Drive. What I need to do is synchronize the Google Drive folder on this laptop, which is failing synchronization, with the Google Drive folder on this laptop that is successfully synchronizing. So what I have in mind to do that is I'm going to plan this out, come back and put these two Google Drive folders side by side. So I'm going to open that one in a new window, and then Windows key right arrow, let go of the Windows key, and then click on the window that I want to take up the second half of the screen. And I'm going to come down here to this My Documents folder. This is, and over here, the My Documents folder. This is where we can see some alignment between these. If I go up one folder level on each side, let's change this display to show details. Let's go to View, Details. So we have My Documents. So we have some obviously unsynchronization here, but we do still have Darial 1 year old on both sides. So these should be synchronizing with each other. They are not. If I go up, now the level that I'm at right now is Google Drive not syncing and My Drive, which I think that is the same level. That's the level that I want to synchronize these two at. If I come up one higher to Google Drive and come up one higher to Sheldon, I don't get to see this shared drives anywhere. Oh, it's empty. Good, that makes it easy. So I'm going to take this level right here and I want to synchronize these. So I could use a synchronization software to synchronize between these. However, I can't do it yet because these are all stored in the cloud. They're not actually on this computer. So I first need to get all these files downloaded to this computer. Then I can synchronize these two folders. Then change these to exist only in the cloud and delete this Google Drive that's not syncing. Actually, I don't have to change these to cloud only. They can stay residing on the computer, but I need them to synchronize. Okay, that sounds like a plan. Now, how do I force them to be all on this computer? I think a right click here, I should be able to get to an option for that. Google Drive, here we go, available offline. So right now they're online only. So they're only available when Sheldon's laptop is connected to the internet. If I click on this one, that should download all of those files to this computer. I want to be sure I have enough drive space first. Now I have, since my last video, I have deleted some excess duplication of files that I had created as part of implementing the new computer or transitioning to the new computer. So to check on that, I'm going to use Windows key E to bring up another Windows Explorer. Right click on the C drive, properties, and yeah, I've got 267 gigabytes. I know that the content of that OneDrive is somewhere around 100. Well, okay, let's go look. If we do over here, this Google Drive, right click and go to the online. This folder takes me to the location on here. How about this settings? Pause syncing preferences. Preferences. System startup account, switch account, disconnect, change network settings. Okay, so I'll just switch to back to the browser. Alt tab to get back to the browser, and then go up here to the tic-tac-toe menu and go to Drive to find out how much is in there. 54.1 gigabytes used. So fine, we got plenty of space. That's going to take a while to do. So over here, right click on that guy, Google Drive, available offline. So if I go back and right click on that again, Google Drive, there's a check mark, available offline. So now these files should be downloading. Double click there and see what activity is going on. It looks like it turns green when it is downloaded. So the blue is not downloaded yet. I suspect that's what's going on. If I come over here to Google Drive, does it show me activity going on? Yeah, loading your files. So here's a bunch of stuff going on, syncing 4,000 files. That number is climbing. So it is trying to figure out how many files we have to sync. And if I come over here, does this tell me how many files? I don't see it offhand. It's probably available there somewhere. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So that's my plan. The plan is underway. That's all we're going to do for this video. Hope that was useful. Catch you later. Goodbye. I signed off at 4:42. It's now 6:52, and I've got a message here that everything is up to date. I don't know how long ago it finished. Now I'm going to go to the next step. So this means that Google Drive's got a bunch of green check marks here. So that is synchronized with the cloud. Now I need to get this synchronized with this not syncing Google Drive. So I think what I'm going to use for that is Handy Backup. I might already have it copied to this computer. I think I have that in my DougBetts Tools folder. No, I don't. Do I have anything else there that does synchronization? Actually, I wonder if Fab's Auto Backup, does that do synchronization? Nah. All right, so let's grab Handy Backup. I'm not actually installing this for ongoing backup, so I'm going to use a trial version for that. I do own a license for it of my own. So I think it's handybackup.com. Yep. And then right here for download. Last build November 1st. Doesn't say what year. All right. Click the download button. HB60, so that's the same version I've had before. show in folder, and then I'm going to right click and cut that and put it into the SW setup folder. Create, yeah, you know what, I think I'll actually put that under my tools. No, I won't. Handy backup. Didn't intend to put an S on that. Right click and paste. And then double click to install it. Answer yes to the user account control. Next. Next. Accept. Next. Next. I'm not going to add it to the desktop. Not going to add to the quick launch. So I'm going to wind up uninstalling it. Don't need the README. And I will launch it. Start trial period. Create a new item. I'm going to call this sync Google Drive. I may wind up using this to do the sync for OneDrive, probably will. So there's a synchronized item here. Now let me think about that a minute. The backup item goes from one folder to another. Do I care about synchronizing? Probably not, because I only need to go from that defective folder to the current active folder. I don't need to go the other way because I'm going to wind up deleting the other. So I don't need to synchronize the two folders to themselves. I just need one folder to have everything, right? So I could do that as a backup. No, you know what? I don't think so. I think I need to synchronize so that it checks date and timestamps. I'm not certain about that. Interesting. All right, this PC. So the first folder, I'm going to call that the one that's failing synchronization. So I'll go into the users folder, into Sheldon, and then Google Drive. And I actually do want to go into the My Documents subfolder, I believe. So yeah, that's the first folder. Next. Then we go to the second folder. And it's the G drive. Go into My Drive and into My Documents. And then next. Okay, this is what I want. I'm going to copy from the first folder to the second. We're not going to mirror both folders, don't need to. Don't care about copying from the second folder to the first. Not going to delete files which are not in the source, right? Copy from the first folder to the second. That makes sense. Not going to schedule it. Properties of the new item. Name, sync, Google Drive, type synchronization. First folder. Google Drive not sync, My Documents. And My Drive, My Documents. So those are the same level. to go review this again, I'm going to reopen those two folders. Have them side by side. Now, here I've got to go into the My Documents folder here. So this is what, let's see, that one is the not syncing, and this one is the fully synchronized one. So files that are in this one, which is what I identified as the first folder, need to go over to here. Now I have not included these files. These files here need to go over here. And there are some that are already over here. But if I take and select these, drag those over here, I should get a prompt asking me about overwriting. And it says copy. Already has named Dariel, 1-year-old, and they are the same, not quite the same. No, they're not the same. Let's compare info for both files. See, this one's June 19th, 2017. This one's June 26th, 2017. So let's compare. They look the same. Oh, they're showing the same date and time. All right, so I'm just going to click on that guy right there and continue. So those are matching now. So now if I watch this documents folder, I should see something happen. This one right here should show up over here. All right, let's go ahead and start that. Click on that, and then, you know what, I can drag this down like this and hit the play button. There's showing processing. Refresh. Thought it might do that one really early in the process, but I guess not. All right, I'll let that run. And we'll pick it up again in a little bit after it gets to some other point. Or when it finishes this, then we'll do the next phase. Catch you later. Bye. An interesting thing that's happening is this is just a couple minutes into this process. This icon right here is blue colored for that sync icon. The rest of these are green. So what that's indicating is that files are currently copying from this folder over into here. And so this is turned to blue on this icon because that folder is not fully synchronized. Well, when Handy Backup gets to working on the next folder, this one right here, then I expect that icon will turn blue. So the files that are synchronizing in here right now are showing up down here on this Google Drive status. So these would all be files that are inside that Baker Dillon group folder as they're uploading. So as this Handy Backup synchronization is happening at the same time Google Drive is uploading those files. So these are only going to be the files that are new. And at the moment, it's got over 1,000 files that are uploading, and it's only started in this folder. Now, if I double click on this folder, we can see some of these in here are blue and some of them are green. So these blue folders are ones that have been added from the disconnected Google Drive folder that was originally on this computer. So these are all files and folders that were created and modified during the time period when the Google Drive was failing to synchronize. Now, if I double click on this Aspera, yeah, so we see some blues and some greens in here. It's just interesting to see that confirmation of what's happening, what I expected to be happening. Okay, so we'll resume again later. Bye. Here it is the next morning, 7:36 a.m., March 9th, Tuesday. The process did finish overnight, so I'm going to punch over to that computer and show you what we got. Here, the what do we do? Google Drive has completed all the synchronization with all those check marks there. It doesn't tell me what time it completed. Let's see, this is scrolled up to the top. So scrolling down, we see others. I think there must have been more activity beyond that. Maybe that's just all it shows in here. And then when I go look at Handy Backup, this log down here, let me maximize this window so we see more of that log space. Well, I guess I still gotta drag this up a bit. So we started that at 7:02 p.m. and if I drag down to the bottom here, it tells us it finished at 11:33 p.m. last night. I need to do a similar process with OneDrive, but with phone conversations with Sheldon and Corinna. It looks like we're going to try to salvage this old laptop and continue using it because it'll be completely serviceable for their purposes. I don't see any real point for them utilizing the new computer unless they just want it. So I offered to them that I would fix the touchpad through the YouTube video, meaning they don't have any out-of-pocket on that, and if they wind up migrating to the new computer anyway, that's okay. They've got 30 days from when they receive the new computer to return it for a refund. So instead of turning my attention to OneDrive right now, I'm going to do the trackpad repair. And that'll be a separate video. So I'm going to end this video in a few minutes. I'll be starting the next video for repairing that touchpad. Did I call it a trackpad? That's not the right word for it. Touchpad. Is there anything else I need to say about this video? I don't think so. So anyway, if you'd like to request a free support session with me, send an email to, let's push the right button, DougBetts at LiveWindowsTraining.com. Give me an idea in the body of the email which you'd like help with, and we'll put it together. So I hope this video was useful to you. Oh, I do remember one other thing I wanted to say. This video is a little different than most of them in that I have made a point now and then to say that my videos are unedited and it's the live work of a computer technician. And in some cases, when there's been long processes, I've left the video recording during that time. This time I stopped it and let the processes run and then started a new video, and then I'm splicing them together. But I'm not editing anything out. And probably most of you don't care about me telling you about that, but maybe some do. So I guess that'll be a wrap. I hope this was useful. Catch you later. Have a great day. Goodbye.